Freehand drawing. Let's look at the group of tools Spline. When you model objects from the 3D Shape tab, each object is parametric. For example, a cube in which you can change the length of the sides. In the spline, there are simple lines that allow you to create an outline of an object. They have no value, but serve to create complex 3D objects as they are flexible. To get started with spline, find the drop-down tab Drawing in the toolbox. There are two tools, Freehand and 3D Sketch. The first tool is Freehand, and the hotkey is F. The toolbar setting panel opens. The panel is divided into several logical parts, each of which is responsible for some separate action. Panel toolbar, tool settings, modes. Drop-down tab with panel settings. All that is below is this mode setting, plane settings, fill settings, height settings, precision settings. Let's look at this panel, starting with the tools. There are 8 tools in this panel that you can use to create a spline. The first tool is Brush. Select this tool. Move the mouse to the workspace. The cursor will be within the boundaries of the tool. After that, hold down the mouse cursor in the workspace by left-clicking. Move the mouse cursor to the side and click on the working plane a second time. A straight line is created. You can also hold the left mouse button and start free drawing. Let's look at the brush settings. Width. You can adjust this parameter by moving its slider right, left, or entering a numeric value, resizing the tool. Line edge style. In the drop-down tab of this menu, you can change the line edge style, square, rounded, and flat. The difference between square and flat is that square allows continuing lines, creating a smooth bending edge. Flat draws only straight lines. The intersection of two elements is always connected. When you draw a closed shape, red lines appear in the center, indicating the formation of the void there. Symmetry allows you to create one of the reflected lines along one of the coordinate axes in the workspace. The next tool is Line. Line allows you to draw a straight or a curved line with anchor points called corner. Click on the workspace and place the first point. It is followed by a ray, where you can choose where to place the second vector in space. Click the mouse cursor. The first and last points will be connected by lines. To finish drawing, you need to connect the first and last point, or press Escape. As you draw the line in the projection window, its length and tilt angle are displayed at the bottom left. You can change it by specifying its certain length in millimeters. Press Tab to move to the angle index input field and enter the angle of the line. Confirm the action by pressing Enter. The following spline tool allows you to draw a line with rounded edges. Mouse over the workspace, put the first point and the second. When you create an acute angle, a smooth angle will be drawn. To finish working on the line, press Escape or connect the first and last points. Let's look at the settings of this tool. Smoothness allows you to choose the level of smoothness of the edges. Increasing this value, the future acute corners will be smooth. Symmetry allows you to create reflected lines on one of the coordinate axes in the workspace. The following circle tool lets you draw on the circle workspace. Click on the workspace, set it aside. The circle has been created in the workspace. Let's look at the settings of this tool. Number of edges. Changing this value allows you to choose the smoothest angles of the object, thereby adding anchor points for a smoother edge, or vice versa, creating sharper angles. Symmetry allows you to create reflected lines along one of the coordinate axes in the workspace. The following text tool allows you to create text in the workspace. Let's look at its settings. Smoothness allows you to change the level of object smoothness. From the drop-down Font tab, you can select one of the fonts offered. Text column with an index entry field where you can enter specific word or numeric value that you want the tool to display. Symmetry allows you to create a mirror image of this object in the workspace along one of the coordinate axes. The next rectangle value lets you create rectangular objects by holding the mouse cursor over the workspace, taking it to the side, and lowering it to create a rectangular object shape. This tool has a symmetry setting that allows you to create a mirror image of a workspace object along one of the coordinate axes. The following ellipse tool lets you create an ellipse object in the workspace. Click on the workspace take the cursor to the side and lower it down. Number of edges allows you to select the level of object smoothness by adding or removing object anchor points. Symmetry allows you to create a mirrored image of an object on the workspace. The latest donut tool allows you to create an ellipse object with a void inside. Red lines indicate void. Therefore, the object inside that object is empty. The next setting in the panel freehand is the mode of creating lines. Since you are in the drawing mode, you can draw objects. Erase mode allows you to create holes in the object. After that, everything that you draw will be created as a whole. The next mode is move points. Turning this mode on, you will be able to see anchor points of each element, pointing the mouse cursor at one of the points until its color changes. You can select it and move it in the direction you want, thereby deforming the object. To confirm the action of this window, press OK or press Cancel to cancel. As you can see, after completing the action of the panel freehand, splines that you had drawn have automatically filled and stretched out in a 3D shape. A hole will be created on the place where we had drawn splines in the mode erase. The next one in the panel freehand is a drop-down tab with additional settings of individual parts of this tool. The first one of them, plane settings, allows you to set the workspace in the projection window. You can add planes in its first drop-down tab. The first plane is always bottom top. Clicking on checkbox, you can add a new additional plane on which the object will be attached, and you can draw. Left right allows you to add one more additional plane. After that, when you will point at them with the tool, the workspace on which you will be working will highlight with a darker color. The creation of the spline will be performed from this plane. You can turn off the workspace at any moment in the drop-down tab. The objects don't disappear after that. Under the tab, there are settings of each separate plane: bottom top, back front, left right. Let's look at the settings of these planes. Offset allows you to move the plane to the right, left, up, down, forward, and backward, depending on which axis is responsible for this plane. You can enter specific numeric value of the workspace offset, or choose the snap tool, which allows you to manually move the plane to a certain level by clicking on the next plane with a mouse cursor. The slider of the value rotate allows you to rotate the workspace along a certain coordinate axis, X or Y. And the last setting of the working planes is save. You can save the workspace. Press save, and the workspace will appear in the drop-down tab with additional one that correspond to the previous value, bottom top. Let's look at the next setting modes of the panel freehand. Open the drop-down tab Settings and choose the setting Fill. In the settings of this value, you can choose the polygon fill of one of the objects, side, top, bottom, holes. To see in an example, let's create a rectangle. Since you have all the fill settings turned on, the object will be created fully filled bottom to top and on the sides. If you create the same rectangular shape and turn on the setting Top, in fill settings, the fill will be completed on the bottom and on the sides. Confirming the panel, the rectangle will be created without a certain side filled. The next setting tab of the panel freehand is height settings. Confirming the action of the panel, each of the objects will be lifted to a certain height. Changing the height setting, you can select the height of the objects by leveling it up or down to a certain level. The last setting mode of the panel freehand is precision settings. Allows you to choose more accurate values for splines. Snap to. In the drop-down tab, you can choose the type of snap. Shapes, grid, vertices, guides. Turning all the values of the snap off, the arbitrary spline drawing will occur. The first snap shapes allows you to snap the mouse cursor to the anchor point of the already created splines. The next snap mode, Grid Vertices, allows you to snap the mouse cursor to the intersection of the workspace mesh. The last snap mode, Guides, allows you to snap the mouse cursor to the created anchors. They are located in the utilities, but we will look at them during the next lesson. Minimum step size allows you to set the minimum size of the line in millimeters. Check the checkbox and choose the minimum value of the line you will be creating. Turning minimum step size on, override step size becomes active and allows you to ignore the previous value by snapping anchor points to the grid vertices and guides. Minimum angle step allows you to choose the minimum angle of the object. Check the checkbox. Enter a specific numeric value in the index input field in angles. Hide all objects allows you to hide all other scene objects. Show measurements allows you to hide or show the additional settings menu of line length and angle. To confirm the action of this window, press OK or press Cancel to cancel.